Hey guys, I'm Daniel. I'm in a band called Sweater Creep, and we released a single like 45 minutes ago. It's like, it could be good. You don't know though, and we can find out together. So, sweatercreep.bandcamp.com. Or go to our Facebook, just type in Sweater Creep in the Facebook search. Not on Google, we're not there yet. Yeah, so check it out. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. I'm Kevin. I do this thing called the Doodle Project. I take Polaroid photos of people and I glue it in a sketchbook, and then I ask people to doodle next to their photos. And it's really cool, and you end up like meeting a lot of really cool people and having a lot of really cool conversations. So I started a podcast, and I just dropped the hottest podcast of 26. It's lit. You can find it at thedoodleproject.us. Look for it on my Facebook page, The Doodle Project, and soundcloud.com/thedoodleproject. I think that's what it is. So thank you.
Hi, guys. So I lied last time. Our presentation for Old English Entertainment is going to be this Friday at 5 p.m. in the library room 133, not 169. That's up there right now. So to introduce our team, this is Antonio, Don, I'm Karina, Ray, and Julian. If you guys have any questions about our company before our presentation, feel free to come find one of us. Otherwise, you can email us at oldenglishentertainment@gmail.com. But please come out to our presentation. If you're an artist, if you're a producer, if you just want to work in the business, we'd love to talk to you. So come out.
Hi, pals. I'm Hannah Risco, and we are here to tell you guys about a cool new group we're starting, and it's called Industry Queens, and it's for the ladies of our program. We thought it was important to unite all the women of the arts and entertainment to talk about the general goings-on of the industries and to collaborate and see what everyone's up to and to empower each other to continue being badass in a male-dominated industry. So the first event we're holding is at my home this Sunday evening. And if you identify as a lady and you want to maybe be involved, we're going to be hanging out on the stage after forum. And if you're shy, you can just email industryqueens@gmail.com.
Yay! Yeah, the flyer, the date is actually the 28th, not the date on the flyer, but we're still excited about the flyer. I also have an announcement to make. I work with the Google Community Leaders Program, and I represent Loyola, and we work in the music branch, and we help teach internet literacy to musicians and artists in the community. So if anyone is interested in joining our team, it's really great. There are a lot of great resources. Please email me at elizabethcmcbride@gmail.com. We're looking for some people to volunteer in events, just single events, and then we're also looking for people who will stay with us consistently. So I hope to hear from you.
Free Kesha. Hey everyone, my name is Kara, this is Riley and Katie, and we work for NOLA Sound, and we are looking for employees. So we basically have engineers and stagehands that work festivals, stuff like that.
In the past we've worked Buku, and we're probably working it again, so if you want to work Buku, come out to training.
We have training on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 3:30 to 4:30. Anybody can come. You can just choose which one you want to go to, show up. If you have any experience, no experience, lots of experience, it's all welcome. You can learn how to work with live sound, and we won't take up too much of your time. And we also offer live trainings as well. It's up on the 4th floor in the communications building. Yeah, usually in the locker or in 421, yeah. So, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 3:30, 4:30.
How's everybody doing? My name is Antoine. How y'all doing? I'm a DJ. My DJ name is Twan Boy, and tonight I am dropping a mix tonight of Bryson Tiller whole album mixed together. Check it out on my SoundCloud, Twan Boy, at 10 p.m. Check it out. Thanks, you guys.
Yo, what's going on? My name is Parker. I play in a band with my brother. It's called Mulheron. And we have a show tomorrow night at House of Blues with Pell. And yeah, it's gonna be it's only like $12, and you can buy tickets pellyeah.com, I think. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Hi guys. All right. So for all of you juniors and above, I guess 2.5 years ago, we had a forum guest. He was a music supervisor. His name was Jonathan Christensen, and he has a music supervision company called Hit the Ground Running. He and I are looking for New Orleans artists. He is scoring the new Netflix original film. Can't tell you what it's called, but it's going to be awesome. And so we are looking for original artists to help us make music for this film. So if you make any music that you consider to be like trap music, a hip hop or R&B, or anything that a fraternity step dance could go well to, then hit me up. Basically, the influences we're looking for are Future, Kevin Gates, Boozy Badass, Lil Jon, Drake, etc. So if you want to get the chance to get your music in a movie, email 1 or 2 of your best songs to the getinforum.gmail.com address, and it has to be meta tagged correctly so that we can get a hold of who you are. So, or just hit me up if you have any questions. Cool.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so we have really cool guests today at Forum. Who's heard of the blog IndieCurrent.com? Anybody? Cool. So this blog in the last 5 years has amassed over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, 15,000 followers on Facebook. They get about 800,000 views on YouTube every month, and in the range of 40 to 50,000 views on their website each month. And today we're lucky enough to have the owner and the 2 owners, so the founder and the editor-in-chief, here with us. So please give a warm welcome to my homies, Angel Fraden and Matt Pendrill.
So, as Abby mentioned, my name is Matt Pendrill. I'm the creator and founder of IndieCurrent. I started about 5 years ago, and about 3 years after that, Angel joined on board with me. So once we get this thing working, we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves and where we're coming from. So yeah, as I mentioned, my name is Matt Pendrill, and I'm coming from the Toronto area, so I'm a Canadian. And I took the trip down, thanks to Abby for bringing us out here, and Loyola for having us as well. There's me and my dog, Hunter, over in the corner there. And the city I'm from is called London, Ontario. There's about 500,000 people there. It's a pretty big university and college-oriented city. And what else is there to tell about it? I went to school at the University of Guelph, which is about an hour or so out of Toronto. I studied management, economics, and finance, and then I started writing the blog. So
yeah, my name's Angel Fraden. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I graduated from New York University's Gallatin School of Individualized Study for music criticism and nonfiction creative writing. Sorry, that was like a lot, but that school is basically a place where you can go and study whatever you want, and at the end of your 4 years, you kind of defend what you studied to a panel of academics, and they approve or deny your program, and that's how you get your diploma. So I had a pretty unique schooling.
So a few of the things that we're going to go over today are how to run a blog, how to start a blog. If you're a musician, how to kind of promote your music, whether or not it's a blog, a publicist, a PR company, a label, and pretty much just the best way to pitch yourself. So as I mentioned before, I started the blog about 5 years ago. This is a picture of the initial incarnation, and that's a picture of me in the corner there. I don't know why I added that. Don't ask. But yeah, it was a fairly basic blog. It was fairly straightforward. We just posted like song reviews, album reviews, and you can see a list of the best songs of 2010. And Then after that, we kind of took a more interactive approach. So we started including a player at the top, which you can see there. So we would stream content through MP3s and like MP4s, and we started taking music videos and kind of incorporating them as well in the player.
So this is the third incarnation of the site. This is when I joined. February 2013 was roughly around the time. And so this version of the website was more visually oriented. It was the first time that we integrated SoundCloud into our media player. So up there on the top with the cassette tapes, all of those play buttons link straight to SoundCloud. And if the SoundCloud song in particular had an option for free download, that arrow going down, you could just download straight from there. So, yes.
So up until recently, this is what our blog looked like. So with this version, we took streaming more of as an aspect of our blog, and we included genre and mood features, so people could stream music based on how they felt, what kind of music they liked, and we included also an interactive streaming or search feature as well, which made looking for music on our website a lot easier because we have about 2,000 or 3,000 posts on there.
And this is the most recent version of the website. It looks kind of funky on this Windows computer with the older internet browsers, but I implore all of you to check it out on Google Chrome, and it's very awesome. We'll go through it after the presentation in its form presently, but this is what it looks like right now. So yes. So in terms of making a music blog, what purpose do music blogs serve? I think that's an important question to ask because the purposes are always evolving, especially with the future of streaming music. So we see ourselves as facilitators for music recommendation and discovery first and foremost. Over the past few years, music blogs have undergone a drastic shift from away from music publications like Rolling Stone to more interactive, media-driven, experience-oriented platforms like what we're trying to achieve. So it's also important to kind of like gauge what kinds of blogs are out there. So there's blog aggregators like Hype Machine. There's streaming-based music blogs like Hilly Dilly. There's editorial-based music blogs like Pitchfork and The Fader. So the way we see ourselves as IndieCurrent is an editorial-based streaming service. So we're trying to kind of dip our toes in both ends of the spectrum and create something that we don't see currently out there in the market. So one of the ways that we find the future of monetizing music blogs will definitely not be through words, but through plays and streams. So we're trying to just like hop on board of that trend while still kind of like recognizing the power of the written word. So yeah. So how would you go about making a successful music blog? There are a few initial obstacles. One of those is gauging who your audience is or who you'd like them to be. So generally, our audience is 56% women to 56% men to 44% women, and 45% of those are 18 to 24 years old. Most of them are from America, Canada, and England, but we also have a very active audience in Mexico, Brazil, Australia, and Asian countries like Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Taiwan. So it's also important to market your brand, have a very clear and concise vision of what you're trying to accomplish, what you want to achieve. In terms of visual aesthetic and the concept, what you're trying to bring to the table, how you want your blog to operate, how you want it to look, all very important things to consider. And these are just like very things that are always in the back of my mind. Quality, just making sure all of our content is quality and that readers and fans can come to the blog and have a sense of trust to always come to the blog and get good music and consistency. So.
So first of all, when you're typically like a lot of people ask like how do we like find music, like how do we like build relationships with like artists and things, and like networking is like a huge part of our blog. So a lot of the music we feature not only on our website, but like our YouTube channel and everything is all brought to us mainly through publicists and artists just reaching out to us through Facebook. And I highly encourage people, if you're a musician, I know there's a lot of people that maybe are in this audience, just like reach out directly to someone like a blog or like a publicist, because it can't hurt. And I know there's a lot of people that I know personally that have built their entire brand just primarily on reaching out to people across the internet, like how me and Abby met.
So these are a few lessons we've learned. We're just going to go break down some of the most important things that we've learned in the process of making this music blog over the past couple of years. First thing is a main question we get asked all the time is, how do you find the music that you write about? How is all this music coming to you? Our goal as IndieCurrent is to try to cover kind of like the stuff that no one is listening to. So we use Facebook, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Bandcamp. And basically the ways we're using these platforms is just going through and liking as many bands that we are pumped about as we can, music labels, radio stations, anything media oriented, we kind of like dip our toes in. And so every day we have a news feed of breaking stuff.
So again, as I mentioned, just kind of building relationships with different kind of industry professionals is really important to building your brand. Also, too, writers as well, just like kind of reaching out to people, like if you're looking to start a blog, just reaching out to people that you follow, like on Tumblr or any other platform such as that, because I know there's a lot of writers that we currently have on our website that we just reached out to personally and just made a point of contact.
We also think it's important to maintain good relationships with PR companies and management companies by kind of reciprocating their pitches and covering the music that they send to us. But we also think it's important for us to kind of maintain our integrity of our creative control, what we think is good, not letting that overpower. So it's just a fine line between the two, like having a good relationship with these PR companies and management companies, but also doing what we want to be doing, and never kind of letting that get away from us. So enter the void. Yeah. One of another very important thing to consider when you're making a blog is how do you fill the void that's already out there? There's so much content out there. There's so many music blogs out there. It's frustrating for me to see several music blogs that all kind of write about the same thing. So, as much as we love Kendrick, and Kanye, there's nothing more frustrating for me to scroll. There's nothing more frustrating than for me to like scroll through a newsfeed and see 10, 12 articles all about the same thing, because the content just gets cluttered. So with IndieCurrent, we're aiming to break away from this vicious cycle of massively circulated content. We want to show you something that you'll never see or never hear before you get to this blog, basically. So.
So here's an example of a group that we actually reached out to recently that wasn't really featured on a lot of other blogs or doesn't have a label or anything, kind of any sort of backing. And we have a pretty strict process about how we go about bringing artists to our YouTube channel and our blog and everything. And yeah.
So, do you want to say maybe how you found out about this band?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess the first time I found this band was actually through another band, so they did a collaboration together with that band. And I basically reached out to their publicist. I asked them if they were interested in promoting their music on the channel, and they said yes. And obviously, as our channel has grown, a lot more people have been more receptive to our requests. And we've gotten some big names on there that you might recognize. Maybe not these guys, but Magic Man and Small Pools and Thundercat as well. Yeah.
So we definitely take pride in covering bands that we believe aren't being sufficiently praised. So Highest Coyote is one of those bands that we've been following since the very beginning. And for those that don't know, they're a 4-piece experimental R&B group from Melbourne, Australia. They've been nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, and they're just like a prime example of a band that we really love, we really support, and we're all about. So here's a. Apologize that it keeps starting and stopping, but it's an excellent song. So this band in particular has evaded mainstream coverage from blogs like Pitchfork and Consequence of Sound, and publications like Spin and Rolling Stone. So I wrote an article last summer that kind of explained this issue, why I think this is a thing, and I asked 10 underground musicians familiar with the music of Hiatus Cowdy to write responses to select songs from the band's most recent album, Choose Your Weapon. So that was a really interesting kind of like experiment, in that we had never gotten musicians' direct responses in the music blog. But I think that's definitely a place that we can fill. Place of growth for us. So yeah, one of the consequences of this article was that we got on the band's radar, who now regularly shares our articles about them on social media, and we got introduced to several labels and music industry players based in Australia. And most recently, we wrote an article about Anderson .Paak sampling Hiatus Cowdy for a song on his new album. And so you can see right here, they shared it on Facebook, and they linked to Anderson .Paak as well. So that's like
super cool.
Double the pleasure, double the fun. So.
Yeah. You want me to do this?
Yeah.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so it's really important, not only as like a blog or like a musician, to create a sustainable model, but create something that you like have a clear focus of what you want to do before you actually start sending it out to blogs or before you start sending it out to labels. Oftentimes we'll find that artists will send stuff out and they like don't really have a clear idea of what they want to do, or about a couple of months down the road they'll change it, and that's really frustrating for people like myself when you're trying to get an idea of what an artist is trying to do. While we like seeing artists like expand their sound and evolve it over time, I think it's really important before you start putting pen to paper to actually know what you want to create, and the same applies to a blog.
So like, as we've talked about before, we've really honed in on having, using a streaming service as like our model that distinguishes us from other music blogs. Our model for paying writers is that we don't currently pay our writers. Yeah, right? So our writers are mainly motivated by writing about music just out of genuine love for writing about it, listening to it, and seeing it shared online. And so that's kind of how we reach out to other writers. We go about it in a way it's like very straight up, like we don't have the money to pay you at this point because our venture is still like growing. But that fact has definitely shaped a lot of IndieCurrent, what we're about. It's very much people involved with the website are just genuinely and very stoked about music, and you can really see it on the website just through the words. It's kind of shaped our editorial voice as well. We have a very conversational, very broken down, simple editorial voice because these writers are just people, not writers first and foremost, but music fans, and that's how we're trying to kind of grow out of that.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, we've kind of like expanded our umbrella. So YouTube is kind of being like a big aspect of our brand, and it's our main source of revenue. While we don't pay our writers at the moment, this is how we plan to do so. So by monetizing videos, we basically are able to pay for our hosting. We're able to, I'm able to pay Angel, and I'm just going to tell you a bit about the process. So with YouTube, when I initially started it, I didn't really have like an idea. I kind of like sporadically was just uploading stuff. I wasn't really going through all the red tape. I wasn't like asking artists. I wasn't asking labels for their permission. And that's definitely something I've learned over time that you really need to do from the beginning and make sure you know what you want to do. But over time, I started to see the YouTube channel was growing, and that really helped with driving traffic to our website. So basically the process of actually getting music onto our website is artists will reach out to us, or we'll reach out to an artist or a label or a publicist, and we will ask them for their permission to post a song. After we have that, we then need to go through the distributor, who basically allows us to monetize the video, and they whitelist it, and we get all that revenue, which we funnel basically back into hosting the website and then paying our writers and Angel. So yeah, this is, again, with the movie puns. It's really important for artists to actually send out proper emails. And these are some examples of some 3 emails I received recently. This is an example of a good one. You can see what makes this email good is it's very straight to the point, it's very succinct. They include emails to SoundCloud, which is really important for us in particular because we use the SoundCloud API to basically stream music through our website. Also, they include press photos, which no artist seems to do or is aware of. And that's good for us because it allows us to basically maintain a very good image on our website and having high quality content. This is an example of a bit of a worse email. This was a band that sent out an email basically asking to post one of their music videos to our YouTube channel. They were from Germany, so obviously there's some grammatical errors, but their email is very scatterbrained, so you can see like they don't really have like an idea of what they're talking about. It just seems like it's kind of all over the place. And then also they don't really make it very personal too, which is really important for us because it shows that they actually follow our blog or they actually like have an idea of like what we're all about, what we're doing. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And this is probably one of the worst emails I've ever been sent. It's very to the point, but almost to the point. Too much to the point, rather. Hopefully, if anyone's an artist here, that this isn't their email. But another thing, too, to mention is just to never actually send downloads because, as I mentioned before, we're all about streaming content through SoundCloud, and anyone who's actually been to our website will know that. So,
and aside from blogs that aren't streaming focused, that don't use SoundCloud as much as we do, the likelihood of anyone opening up your stuff and downloading it, as opposed to clicking on a button that plays it automatically, it's just like they're much more likely to listen to it.
And we don't know if it's like anything nefarious or So yeah, like I said before, we generate like most of our revenue through YouTube, and here are a few things we kind of like want to do with that money. So the first one being live sessions. So there's a lot of artists and like labels that we work with currently that we really want to start doing live sessions with. And Angel being based out of Brooklyn, it makes it a lot easier for us because we can go into studios and we can record those sessions. Sorry.
And so we've also one of our aims is also to work closer with photographers that we worked with in the past. This is a series called The Surge, which we started about 2 years ago. And so the aim of The Surge is to pair together artists that we're super keen about and stoked about that we cover on IndieCurrent with artists that we're familiar with, visual artists and filmmakers and photographers. So the music from this video is by a singer, songwriter, and producer based out of Ireland. Named Owsie, and the filmmaker is a girl named Jessica Allen, who's based out of Okinawa, Japan. And this film was actually shot in Paris. So we're aiming to do more stuff where we kind of are making original content by putting together two very different things, but yeah.
Another thing we're looking to do in the future, just kind of like more with our website, is to actually create user profiles. So as I mentioned before, we do a lot of things where like users can actually stream music based on their genre, their mood. But we also want to create user profiles so we can open up the conversation within our blog and make it easier so users can interact and they can kind of share content together. And yeah. Another thing we're looking to do in the future is to approach a media network. So while we do generate like a pretty good amount of revenue through our YouTube channel right now, it's important for us to get on a media network down the line so we can actually we can devote more resources towards our editorial content. So specifically writing more long form articles such as Angel's written for Hiatus Coyote, and anything of the sort. And then again, kind of too, we have a number of people who we're looking at sponsoring in the future or getting sponsorships with. And this is one of the companies. This is an earbud company. And this is important to us for us to maintain our integrity and feel like we're not really selling out at the end of the day. So kind of providing our users with relevant advertisements.
So at this point, we're going to show you the current version of IndieCurrent.com, which looks a little different on here than it should, but
it's also mobile compatible if anyone has a phone and they want to look at there.
Very mobile compatible. So all the featured posts are up here at the top. You can play the song that corresponds to each of these articles right here at the front page. We have also added a recent shuffle function. So if you click that and play the first song and just skip through, you'll just get thousands of songs basically that we've uploaded over the past couple of years. You can also, what was the other thing?
Media. So we also introduced a media library too to make it easier. How do you scroll down on this thing? There we are. We also introduced a media library as well. So this basically aggregates all of our music into one area.
We were inspired by a blog called IndieCurrent. A blog called
We
Are Hunted. There was a blog called We Are Hunted that was a streaming-based music blog. They were bought out in 2012, and their algorithm now operates Twitter Music. But visually, it was a very similar thing. You could scroll through charts of different genres, and it was updated every day with different stuff. And so that definitely shaped our vision of what we wanted IndieCurrent to include. And so, yeah, you can scroll through a bunch of genres that we've established here, a bunch of moods. You can go through most recent items to more popular things by week, day, and month. You can also click on the individual tracks here, and then we'll bring you up to other songs by that artist and songs that you also might like, similar tracks. And if the article has a corresponding, if the track has a corresponding article, you can also click through it here. And so it just kind of brings you full circle. And we've also added a feature down at the bottom here, where if you are at the bottom of an article, you're playing the song, and
don't be a stranger when I come around. 'Cause you ain't perfect, don't you bring me down. Drag me through the mud till I'm black and blue. I know I hurt you, but you
so if you're playing this song here, we've added keyboard shortcuts. So like you can pause the song with the space bar, play it again, play the next song with an arrow key. And so if you arrow key forward at the bottom of an article, it'll automatically start another article from there.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we did that was because we looked at a few things when we developed this new website. One of the things, we had a very high bounce rate, which basically means that people who would visit the website would basically leave right away. And by introducing a feature like this, it means that people can basically stream stuff in the background without actually having to do anything, without actually having to change pages rather, and it will continuously stream content. And that's really important for us because it's something that we would like to go, it's like a website that we would want to go to ourselves rather than just a blog, purely a blog. It's a streaming service now.
And so like we have our media player in there, but we also like don't hesitate to include full embeds of SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, even if neither of the two first ones are available. So we're really trying to like do cross media platform stuff on our blog.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. But if anyone has any questions, we can open the floor to questions. If anyone's interested in, how we got started more, or, yeah. Well, it varies pretty much. It varies quite substantially, just because with obviously certain writers fall in and out. But I'd say there's probably about 5-10 of us or so.
There are about 5-10 really active writers, but we've had
I think we've
upwards of
amassed
100 people involved at one point or another, from somewhere from 100 to 150.
Yeah. And
then last year there was probably 35 to 45 writers that contributed.
Yeah.
So we're making 80% of the content basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Do you guys have your own internet developer, or do you guys use a host site? And if you do have a developer, when did you guys make that switch?
Actually something I didn't touch on already. When I first developed the website, I had a friend who is a web developer, and he basically helped me with the first couple of incarnations of the website. The version you see here and a couple of versions before, the version before that rather, were developed by this guy named Dominic Huesmans. You should check him out. But he actually is from Montreal, and he worked on a website that was similar to this. And the reason I reached out to him in the first place was because I really liked what he had done. And that kind of goes back with what I said before, whereas like I encourage you to just reach out to people because you never really know what will happen.
And so one of the issues we face with, we had this very clear vision of what we wanted, but we didn't have the money to fund that, right? So with the developer. So one of the ways that he was able to kind of bump down the price, the overall price of his fee, was including his name at the bottom of the website.
Yeah.
And so, a watermark. And so these are just kind of things that you could keep in mind when working with other people to get your product the way you want it to be.
Have you guys ever gotten in trouble for work or doing something on a song that you didn't clear? And do you clear every single song you do now, or?
So we only have to clear stuff that's on YouTube first off.
Yeah.
Everything that's here is through SoundCloud, but we have gotten in trouble before for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said before, when I first started the YouTube channel, that's kind of where we get most of our complaints. Well, we used to get complaints rather, was through our YouTube channel because I wasn't really going through the red tape. But now as the YouTube channel's kind of grown and we've got more subscribers and stuff, we've been very proactive about how we actually approach labels, and we've really made sure that we're not stepping on anyone's toes at the end of the day, because that's how we want to, we don't want to be seen as
We've also had to make
liable.
sure that the media and the photos that we're using are all individually approved, not just hitting up a photographer and being like, oh, can we use this one photo, and assuming that all the other photos after that are going to be okay too, because that was one issue that we ran into, and we had to pay a photographer a certain amount of money because we used a photo that was not cleared from her at first. So
yeah, cool. Yeah.
What if SoundCloud went away?
That's actually a good question.
I have nightmares about that.
Yeah.
No, if SoundCloud went away, that's a great question. So in addition to linking out to SoundCloud, if we really have no other means, we also will upload an MP3, and the MP3 is hosted on our website. So I guess that would be the next step, just using MP3s and going back to MP3s.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen if SoundCloud went away, dude.
I'm really hoping our developer knows enough about APIs that maybe he can stream through YouTube or something of the sort, because one of the reasons why we use SoundCloud is because it is all legal. Users who basically upload their stuff to SoundCloud from the beginning, basically that's in one of the terms and conditions that you can actually stream content through a third-party service such as our own. Other than that, I don't really know what we do. Have you?
So when you first started IndieCurrent, how long did it take for you to see a spike in your listenership? And can you kind of take us through that process of really gaining traction on the internet?
Yeah. So when I first began, I wasn't really proactive about how I wrote posts and stuff. And back in the day, Facebook had a much different algorithm as to how they actually aggregated content towards the user. So how it was put in your news feed. So it was very easy for me to pick up traction, because I would just post about certain artists that were very underground, and they would quickly pick it up on Facebook and they would share it. So that was very good for traffic in the beginning. But over time, I've basically had to adapt how we actually go about doing that. So one of the ways is as Angel Angel said about Hiatus Coyote, was promoting artists that weren't really featured on major publications. So it's easy for them to promote our content rather than it would be for them to promote Pitchfork or, I don't know, Spin or some of the other big media labels. But
yeah, I think one of the catalysts to our reach was the fact that I was very hands-on about covering shows. I would go to 4 or 5 shows a week, which isn't that much. I bet to you guys, you're there's music all over the place everywhere. But no, in Brooklyn, it's a big deal because it's a lot bigger and it's all spread out. There's music happening everywhere, but it's very hard to get to. So I really made an effort to explore different scenes, meet different people, meet different bands, and from that, bands will tell other bands about, IndieCurrent, and from there. And so we definitely have a big following from Brooklyn, and that definitely helped surge our following.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey.
As an artist trying to get covered, if I could say put my stuff on Bandcamp instead of SoundCloud, does that affect whether or not you will deal with me?
At the end of the day, no.
Yeah.
Especially if it's good enough. Like, I've never before have turned away a song because it's only on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
If anything, that kind of makes me more excited because I'm like, okay, this person has a clear idea of what they want. Sometimes there are artists who are like, I'm not a SoundCloud artist. They're like, I'm a Bandcamp artist, and let that mean whatever you want it to mean. But SoundCloud is for a certain kind of music sometimes.
Yeah.
And Bandcamp is for a certain kind of music sometimes as well.
Yeah.
And depending on what kind of reach you're trying to get. So Bandcamp totally chill.
And we don't only feature stuff from SoundCloud. So Bandcamp is a big part of our website. Certain users kind of use it more as a form of finding music. So one of our writers, Manny, a lot of the artists he covers are on Bandcamp. And I wouldn't say any service is really all that bad.
And that specific writer that he mentioned, Manny Lemus, he's based out of Virginia. And through writing for our music blog, he was able to make connections with other people in his county and basically made a label because of those connections. And it's called Citrus City Records. And he's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah,
and he's got a cool compilation. You guys should check it out. Purple, please.
Of the artists that you guys feature, what do you think is the percentage of them that have publicists? And do you guys take that into consideration?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Is it more official when you see a publicist versus just an artist contacting you guys?
So for me, and just for my whole editorial vision of what we want to be, it's I would love to do only artists that don't have publicists, because that's the kind of music we're trying to go for, people that are doing everything themselves. It's all a very carefully curated vision of what they're trying to give to the internet. And so those are artists that excite me, that are able to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
And those are the artists that most of the times aren't getting covered.
Yeah.
And so those are the artists that we're looking for.
And more often than not, too, people who are making, kind of their own publicist or their own marketing team, they are usually a little bit more personal, in their emails, and that really comes across, and that incentivizes us to promote their music. So one thing that's really big for us is premieres, and that's kind of how we drive traffic to our website, because it's kind of a two-way street, right? We promote their music, but we also want them to share that content at the end of the day, right? Because we want their music to be seen, and we want our website to be seen. So
95% of our premieres are with people that don't have publicists.
Yeah. Green.
Have you guys thought about hosting any shows that you guys would put on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely thought about that. I've been doing some booking with a series called So Far Sounds, which is based in 200 cities all over the world. So I've been doing booking for them, but that's the next step we want to do for sure, throwing shows. Yeah.
Yeah, with more money. Yeah. Oh.
What other factors play into you guys putting a song on your blog in addition to it sounding good?
In addition to the way it sounds?
Yeah. First and foremost, it's obviously if it's kind of goes with it's kind of in keeping with the music we already feature on the website.
Also, if it looks good, I'm on SoundCloud, I'm going through stuff, I can most of the time see what a song is going to sound like before I click on it, based upon the artwork. And that's not always the case, obviously, but if someone is really putting all of their effort into a song, they're going to make sure that the visual matches up with the song. So if I see a really nice visual and it's a mediocre song, maybe I might be inclined to post about it just because I'm oh, they got a visual thing going on. They really know what they're about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you all thought about an app? An app?
Yes. Well, as I said before, our phone or our website is more mobile compatible. But as we get more revenue and stuff, we want to start creating a mobile app. Just for the streaming aspect, right? Because that's something we're really trying to focus on. And I think it would be better just as a user to stream that music through an app and drive traffic to our website through that avenue.
And the ultimate goal for that, for the audio capabilities of that app would be to do kind of like offline Spotify thing where you wouldn't need internet and, you know, licensing and stuff for that. But, you know, that's what we would want eventually.
Yeah. This is fascinating. Thank you guys so much for coming. And congratulations on garnering as many subscribers as you
Thank
have.
you. Appreciate
That's
that.
really impressive, and this is an incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
As you know, the bar for entry is really low. Anybody can start a blog in 5 minutes. So I guess one question is, in this vast world of the internet where there are so many eyeballs out there, and so many people trying to attract them, websites are under such pressure to provide value to the user. And is the value that you see yourselves providing, where does it reside? Is it in, for example, the writing, like an old-fashioned journalism, good writing about music? Is it in the curation, like the user is going to be directed to good music because they trust your aesthetic sense? Like, if it's about the curation, are you threatened by maybe Apple and Spotify? That seem to be going into the curation business through Apple Music and Spotify. If it's about the writing, how long can you survive with amateur writers who I assume are not as good as professional writers?
So I'd say that's like probably something we really struggle with. Like even now, is like finding our direction and our vision. Because like we do see ourselves as a streaming service, but we really do want to maintain that like editorial aspect, because that's really important to us. And like when we get more resources, that's one of the reasons why we want to join a media network, because they have the resources of other writers, they have the money to kind of, you know, devote more time to articles that we want to feature. And you mentioned long-form content.
And we do long-form content. So when I first came on board, my whole like objective was to like kind of legitimize the editorial and like make the writing good. And so I'm very much about long-form prose when it comes to music writing, but I understand that the place for that in the current music blog environment is limited. To answer your question, like our website is definitely for like curation, like musical curation. It's not about the articles, it's about what kind of music you can find here.
Yeah, and like one of the reasons why we like started streaming music through SoundCloud was so that we could kind of differentiate ourselves from the other blogs at the end of the day, right? As you said, there's so many people trying to, there's so many blogs out there. Someone can start a blog in 5 minutes, but what we bring to the table we think is different, and it kind of incentivizes people to come to our blog than, I don't know, Joe Schmo's blog, who just, you know, he writes long form content, but he has a very basic setup. I mean, it's just like more visually appealing, and the user experience I think is better, and that's something we want to kind of continue doing down the road.
Can I just
Yeah.
one more?
Yeah, of course.
How do you market yourselves? Where do you spend your advertising money? How much of your revenue do you put back into advertising? Where's the best bang for your buck?
Well, we were very lucky because our developer is such a nice guy. He decided to do our website at a discount. But that won't always happen, obviously. Most of our revenue, I would say, is like funneled into actually like hosting, because it's very expensive just to like keep a fast website, and that's like part of the user experience at the end of the day. And then the rest, I would say, kind of like gets divvied up between us. And then down the road, like in the near future, we're obviously planning on paying writers, so we can get that editorial content. And
So you don't do any internet advertising?
No,
none.
Zero.
None. Zero.
We do social media, or like we promote our own stuff via social media, but no.
But you don't buy Facebook ads?
Nope.
Google ads?
Nope.
No.
Word of mouth.
No. Word of mouth. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like you guys started more like within the industry, as in you guys were reaching out to artists and photographers before you guys were, and that's kind of how you got the name spread, rather than people being fans at first and telling other fans about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think the more artists we reach out to is definitely more driven by the artists that we were covering, because you know those artists would see links to our features or premieres on Facebook or whatever, and definitely word of mouth, artist to artist, is how we got a lot of our traffic in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Where do y'all profit from, or what are y'all's revenue streams?
The majority of our revenue is currently from the YouTube channel.
Yeah, but
YouTube is just like a great model for monetizing media content.
Yeah.
And it's just like super accessible right now.
So we partnered with what's called like an MCN. They're called a multi-channel network. And basically what their role is to be a middleman between a YouTube company and advertisers. So for example, if Smirnoff wanted to advertise on our YouTube channel, they can basically contact that MCN, and then they will pay them a certain CPM based on what they're trying to promote on our channel. That being said, we also have we have a couple of other revenue streams. T-shirts is another big component of our revenue. What else do we have? I think that's mainly it. Yeah.
T-shirts and YouTube.
Yeah, T-shirts and YouTube.
Yeah.
What's in the future for IndieCurrent?
So we kind of covered that a little bit on our last slide, but just like creating more original content, pairing together visual artists with musicians, artists, getting more original video content out there through YouTube, expanding the YouTube channel we already have to not just include photos paired with media, but like more music videos, sessions, video interviews. We've been talking about podcasts. So
starting a label is actually one thing that we've really looked into, especially because we've established like a lot of relationships with labels and artists, and there's oftentimes artists that we'll see will like blow up over time, and we would love to be the people behind them. Yeah. Cool. No more questions.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for being
active.